Hi, this is Ms. Harkness. This video is for Eureka 8th grade math for Module 4, Lesson 22, where we are going to compare rates. So we have two things happening here in this question. This should be expected because in 8th grade, when we compare rates, they're going to be formatted differently. So we have two people. We have Jeff and we have Mark. So let's read about Jeff first. It says, Jeff can mow an entire lawn of 450 square feet in 30 minutes. Assuming he mows at a constant rate, write the linear equation that represents the situation. Let's read about Mark. The figure represents Mark's constant rate of mowing a lawn. Who mows faster? So this is a multi-step problem. We need to find Jeff's equation, and then we need to compare Jeff and Mark. So we know that rate is distance over time, right? So for Jeff, his rate is 450, his distance, right, square feet, per 30 minutes. There's not going to be an initial value because he hasn't started mowing. Like if he doesn't mow, if he doesn't spend any time, there's not going to be lawn already mowed. So this would be his equation. We can simplify it down. 450 divided by 30 is 15. So there's Jeff's equation. Now for Mark, his information is on a graph, but we can pull his rate from a graph. We can see he also has an initial value of nothing, right? If he hasn't mowed, he hasn't covered anything. And then if I look up my line, I'm looking for a lattice point, and I have one right there. I can see where that crosses. So I'm just going to drop a point right there. That is at the point 2, 14, where 2 is my time, and 14 is his area mowed. So if I were to think about his distance, that's 14. That's his area mowed. And his time is 2 minutes. So for Mark, to get his rate, his distance over time, we'll do 14 over 2. Well, 14 divided by 2 is actually 7. So now we have our two equations. So the question says, who mows faster? Explain. So in comparing these two numbers, for the same amount of time, for 1 minute, we've got a 15 or we've got a 7. Should be seeing it now. Jeff is faster. For each minute he mows, he covers, and this is where I'm going to find the difference, right? What is 15 minus 7? It is 8. He covers 8 more square feet. Let's take a look at another one. Here we have a second example. As I said previously, in 8th grade, when we compare rates, they're going to be formatted differently. We have Natalie here as a scenario, and then we have Stephen as a table. So we're going to need to be able to compare Natalie and Stephen. So let's read the scenario. It says, Natalie can paint 40 square feet in 9 minutes. Assuming she paints at a constant rate, write the linear equation that represents the situation. So Natalie, distance over time, and we're done with Natalie for the moment. We don't need to simplify her down to a decimal. It's going to give me a repeating decimal, so for right now, we'll leave it alone. Let's take a look at Stephen. The table of values below represents the area painted by Stephen for a few selected time intervals. Assume Stephen is painting at a constant rate. Who paints faster? Now, I want to draw your attention that these are x values and these are y values, which actually means these are ordered pairs. So we have 310, 5 and 50 over 3, right? 6, 20, and 8, 80 over 3. Now, I don't love to work with fractions, so I'm actually not going to use this one. I'm not going to use this one. If you recall, slope is the same across the data, and it even tells us right here, Stephen's painting at a constant rate. So whether we look at his 3-minute interval or his 6-minute interval, it's the same rate. So let me pull up this information, and we're going to find the slope. To find slope, we need to label, draw the model. Now the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we're going to have 20 minus 10 over 6 minus 3. 20 minus 10 is 10, 6 minus 3 is 3, 10 thirds. Trying to zoom out here, there we go. So this is Natalie. Stephen is y equals 10 thirds x. Now it's going to be helpful for us to convert these to decimals. So Natalie was 4.4 repeating, and Stephen is 3.3 repeating. Natalie is the faster painter because she covers more area, and I will subtract them. I believe this scenario said painting. Yes. Natalie paints at a faster rate. For every minute she paints, she covers 1 more square foot. Because if we subtract their rates, right, 4.4 minus 3.3, or on my calculator, if I do 40 over 9 minus 10 over 3, I actually get 10/9. So it's actually 1.1 repeating, but give or take an extra square foot. So that's 2 examples on how to compare rates. I hope this video was helpful in teaching you how to break down the problem, how to plan it out, and then how to solve.